All right. Well, let's talk power rankings. That's also exciting times.
Always.
Yeah, this is the first time I've had quite a few of my list just stay put this week. A lot of the things that I thought were going to happen happened. A few anomalies did take place. And yeah, but the movement, I don't think I had a single team move more than 5 spots.
I might have. I had one. One. And gotcha. I'll be very clear. It was Houston. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. Well, as we always do, we go from 10 down to 1 on this list here on the show.
Yep.
If you want to get the full 1 through 32 at @the_square pod on Twitter, check us out there. You can get to see the full list from week to week and have fun and making fun of us over there. But let's start at 10. Let's work our way down onto 1. Starting at 10, I'll kick it off. New England, they dropped 3 spots, 9 and 6.
Sad story for New England. 2-game losing streak. They look like a shell of themselves since taking number 1 in the division.
Taking one in the conference.
Okay, thank you. Even better, even the conference for that matter, and have all of a sudden just disappeared. And just not that team at the moment, and that's fine. But it makes it very confusing when these teams peak the way that they do.
Yeah.
At these really weird times of the season, and then all of a sudden they plateau out and flatten out, and then they just kind of look like, okay, well, we thought they were
Arizona
in the first
talking
place.
to you.
Yeah. So with that, say chalk.
Gotcha. Nice. Well then, who do you have over there at 9?
Cincinnati. I moved them from 13 to 9. So they went up 4 spots. They're in my top 10. This might be the second time I got them in my top 10, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
Okay, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
So they had to fight their way back up into there. But I got them at 9. So,
well, I already had them in the top 10, so
okay.
Talk about them a little bit later. I got Tennessee. I got Tennessee back into the top 10 here for the first time in the last couple of weeks now. They played a very solid game on Thursday. Short week, came out there kind of stale in the first half, like we mentioned before, but they came out in the second half, and Mike Vrabel got this team to get up for the second half and put up 20 points and played a very, very sound defensive game plan, and they got themselves a win at home and a much needed one. And now they're in second place at the AFC, back into the top 10. I think deservedly so, and we'll see if they can stay there.
Right. And I have Tennessee at 8.
Okay.
Had them at 10 last week. Moved them up a couple spots. And don't have to really say much more. Everything you said is fine with me. So they're in my top 10, moved up a few spots. So they are in the top 10 and climbing.
All right. Well, I have at 8, Buffalo. Moved them up 2 spots. They're 9 and 6. I had to move them past New England because now they do lead them in the division. They did beat them quite handedly in this game. So I think they played a little bit more of a sound game than Tennessee did from beginning to end. So wanted to give them that respect too and move them up past Tennessee up to 8.
All right. So at 7, Tampa Bay.
Interesting. Where did you have Tampa Bay last week?
8.
Okay. All right.
So they moved up 1 spot.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Gotcha. Well, for 7 for me, I got Cincinnati. Moved them up a little bit higher. I had them at 9 last week, so moved them up 2 spots. Put them up to 7. So that was kind of just a chalk move for me with that win. I wanted to move them up further, but you'll see in a second as to why I couldn't.
Okay. I got you.
You got it at 6.
So at 6, I I have Buffalo.
Gotcha.
I had them last week at 7. They move up one more spot, and they just shift up to 6.
I'm not even going to try to hide the rest of my list.
Oh, it's fine.
The rest of my list is chalk from last week. So
mine isn't.
Okay.
So I got some very interesting things happening starting at 5. So, but
everybody won. I was just like, oh my God.
They did, but unfortunately,
and I did look. I initially went back and I did move some guys here or there based off of the impression of win and how big of a win and how handedly they did get a victory or whatnot. And then I went back and I looked at it and I was just like, you know what? I'll save that for week 18 because I do feel like a lot of the teams that we do believe are going to win. It's just a matter of how they do it at this late into the season. So I'll save that for next week in changing in how I felt about the win a little bit more next week.
Okay. Got it. And that's fair. Okay. Before we get into the top 5, and of course your chalk 5, bottom 3.
Yes.
32.
Jacksonville.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They I don't think anybody's going to be able to move them off of 32 at this point. I just don't. I don't see how. They had their shot. They hit the Jets and they blew it. So
yeah, that team is tragic to me. They've been there for a full month now for me.
I think we are at the same thing. They got down there. I haven't moved. I have no way I can't move. Like, Jesus,
team sucks.
Nothing. Yes.
Who you got at 31?
Would be the Jets.
I got the Giants there. I moved the Giants there.
That is interesting. The Jets are obviously on paper and in the items as a much worse team than the Giants. But then when I say that, it's like, what did I just say? The Giants, they are horrible in New York. If you're Buffalo.
But here's the thing. The Jets just got to win. The Giants had another loss.
Who did the Jets beat?
Jacksonville.
Case closed. It's a win
Jets.
that I understand.
A win is a win to the Jets.
No, it's a
win is a win.
Is this that type of matchup? Jets, Jacksonville, when you're winning, you're losing. It just doesn't matter. It's not going to push the needle.
I don't agree. I think any win for the Jets is just as big for Jacksonville.
Yeah. Well, I got the Jets at 31, and that, the win didn't even move them out of that spot because I couldn't justify it. But at 30, your team, the New York Giants. So
at 30, I've got Carolina.
I have them at 29.
Oh, okay.
No, so they're right there. But with the team that I actually springboarded ahead was Houston.
I did too.
And I put them at 22. I was being very generous.
Generous.
There was a +5 though.
I have them at.
They weren't at the bottom at the beginning.
6.
Yeah, I went a bit higher. I put them above Atlanta, Seattle, Washington, Denver, Chicago, Detroit, and Carolina.
I have them just under Chicago.
Now, they can lose and I can drop them back down to 8 spots, so it does not even matter. But, yeah, I just want to, okay. So we're pretty similar at the bottom, no more so than at the top as well. There's a few variations in it. But let's get back to top 5 now. At number 5, this was a very weird 5 for me, and hear me out. The LA Rams.
What?
Yeah. Had them at 3.
Yeah.
Moved them down to 5. I know it's going to sound crazy.
I mean, I think I know where you're going with this, but.
Yes. It was some more. What happened, like you said, everybody won. They did. However, there was some very notable wins as opposed to some teams won. And that was fine. the Rams, unfortunately, just fell into that they won category. They should have decimated Minnesota, and they didn't.
But here's the thing where I feel the Rams deserve a little bit more credit for that win is that, yes, that was a horrible game. out of Matthew Stafford. That was a horrible game out of Cooper Kupp. Like anybody looking at the game is just like, okay, that is not the type of way that you should win any game. But the fact that they did, like, you overcame 3 interceptions. You were -3 on the takeaways, and you still came out there and won the game. And you played good enough defense to hold them out of the end zone at the end there. You played good enough offense to still get points, get 30 points on the board, and stay ahead of this team. And yes, granted, you are a Super Bowl contender, so you do need to decimate teams like this. But I think you got to take into account that they were on a short week because they played last Tuesday.
No, you're.
Plus, they come back on a Sunday to play this game, and you're on the road in Minnesota, which we all know those Skull Minnesota Vikings fans are. God, they are the ones. So let's take that into account too. Doing this on the road, even having that bad of a game, you came out there and you were still able to get that win. I thought it was impressive to me.
I'm not taking anything away from it. I just think a couple other teams did something just a little bit more impressive. That's all. It was no more, no less. Somebody had to take an L in this. So even though no one lost any games, it's a weird anomaly. Like you were saying, too many teams at the top won. I'm like, okay, I'm not used to that.
Yeah. At least one of you should all the time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult. So
yeah. I got Tampa Bay still there. So
at 5.
Yeah.
Okay, you just got them quite high. At 4, Indianapolis. Had them at 5 last week, moved them to 4. And so I know, and I kind of shifted them past the Rams. I was just impressed at what they were able to do to go out into Arizona and take care of Arizona. Even though Arizona has proven to be a better and a more efficient road team as opposed to home team, but nevertheless, a team that good should not, you're going into their house. You shouldn't be in there basically handling them the way you handling them. And Indianapolis and Arizona, you know what I'm saying, different conferences, traveling across the country, and on
Christmas Day.
Thank you. And made a game of it and actually basically controlled it from start to finish.
Yeah.
And got the victory and got out of there. I thought that was just a little bit more impressive than what the Rams did. The Rams did not do anything that was not impressive, just not as impressive as to what I was expecting from Indianapolis. If Indianapolis went over there to Arizona, got their teeth kicked in, nobody would have batted eyelash to that. And no one would have said anything. It would have just been expected, and that would have been the end of it. That didn't happen. Therefore, that's how they get the 4 seed, the 4 spot.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. Like I said, I had them at 6. They won. Everybody else went ahead of them, so I couldn't move them up. The guy I have at 4, Dallas.
Dallas, got it.
Great win, but everybody won ahead of you.
Exactly. And because of Dallas and how they, Tecmo Bowl style went, 42 points in the first half.
Jesus.
Ridiculous. I'm sorry. Number 3 for me.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with that.
It's just like, and that's what I mean. Dallas and Indianapolis just impressed me so well. I brought the Rams down 2 spots in a win. It was the most craziest anomaly. Like, I could have left it like that, but it seemed like I would be taking so much away from what Dallas and Indianapolis had pulled off last week. So therefore, I got Dallas at 3. Moved them from the 4 spot to the 3 spot. And there you go. At number 2.
Oh, well, at 3 for me is the Rams.
Okay.
At 2, Green Bay.
Yeah, we're chalk.
All right.
And of course, we know who number 1 is.
Kansas City.
But this is week 3. I think we 3 straight weeks with Kansas City.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
That's what I got.
Yes. And I have Kansas City obviously chalk again with Kansas City at number 1 for another week.
Well, we've only got one more week of power rankings to do because, I mean, after Week 18's games, there's no reason to power rank. It's just looking ahead at the playoffs. So we'll do one more of these for the season and get our final ones in after these Week 17 games. But man, yeah, I think we're getting really close to having a pretty chalk list together. I mean, I know we have some disagreements on a couple of teams further down these lists, but I do have a question. Where do you even have Arizona after that loss?
Oh, good. Intelligent question there. Arizona. Last week I had them at 12, right?
Okay.
This week, don't ask me. It would be through a lot of explanation. They're still at 12.
Okay,
I didn't even move them. They just stuck right where they were. Okay. I think so many teams around where they were slated lost.
Yeah.
And and for the teams that won were so far away, I'm like, I'm not gonna move a team 8 spots to put them ahead of Arizona. It's just kind of like it's a wash. You just stay where you are. They're like on an island by themselves.
Okay, gotcha. Well, let's go. Well, I have them at 13. So, I mean, I dropped him 2 spots from last week. I had him at 11. So, it just wasn't.
I had Miami. Miami is right under them at 13 for me, but I had them 7 last week. Miami won and it was impressive, but was it 5 spots impressive? And that's asking a lot. So,
Gotcha.